Well, hello and welcome and welcome and hello and welcome and hello and welcome. Let me add just welcome and hello, greet you warmly and sincerely by saying welcome and hello and welcome and hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome and hello. Um, oh boy, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. Welcome and hello. I don't know, guys. I don't know why I like saying welcome and hello. It's a bit I stole from my godmother, Gail King. I was trying to kick alcohol and sedatives at the time, and she was a huge help. So I've always just said sort of welcome and hello as an homage to Gail, sort of the same way Mary Tyler Moore used to tug on her earlobe. Which was just her way of saying hello to her grandmother who raised her. Sort of that same thing, that same vibe me and Gail have. So, guys, welcome and hello and welcome and hello. You know me, I'm not one to belabor a greeting, but just welcome and hello and welcome. Also, YouTube has been giving us some extremely detailed analytics. They're not just breaking things down by age and gender. It turns out my audience has I believe by 2 standards of deviation below the average penis size in terms of my male demographic. So we do have a sort of poorly endowed audience, but we soldier on. I don't know why I thought that was funny, but like YouTube is giving me all this stuff. Like I don't have enough people to really get deep into analytics, but it's funny. Yeah. So we do have a very poorly endowed audience, but you guys get out there and you get out of bed every morning and you do your thing. So we salute you, all you tiny wing all stars. No, guys, I don't know why I'm thinking about small penises today. Probably projection, possibly. But anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. Enough with the genitals and such. Let's talk SMCI, guys. Here's what happens with the conventional wisdom. The conventional wisdom is not only often wrong, but it's often a disingenuous lie designed to manipulate retail investors like the tiny winged sheep that you are. And I am as well. I'm also a retail investor. Let's see. Not really. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. Just trying to take care of some housekeeping. What's up, Clap My Dog? What's going on? Jason Actis. Yeah, the mini waters are kind of my stock in trade, guys. They call me mini water because I'm short. I'm cylindrical, and I always leave you wanting more. They call me cornbread out in Little Danny Cornbread DeCarlo out in the Las Vegas area because I am a moist, doughy, and I crumble under pressure. They call me either depending on if you're in Fort Lauderdale or Miami, it's either Stubby Macanudo or Stubby Cohiba. Of course, that was based on the horrific manscaping accident I had back in the early 80s. I used to do all my manscaping with one of those vintage Vitamix blenders, and as you know, in retrospect it's obvious, but you do not want to hang your genitals into a blender with a stainless steel blade spinning at 30,000 RPM. It's a recipe for disaster. So anywhere in South Florida, suffice it to say these days they call me Stubby Macanudo. And as you know, guys, I'm not one for a long belabored intro, but if anyone is still watching after that 4 minutes of absolute nonsense and gibberish, I don't know why, but perhaps you're an SMCI shareholder. I'll just tell you this, and hear me now, believe me later. And if I'm completely wrong and this thing goes back down and crashes and the margins don't improve and the sales don't absolutely explode as Blackwell comes out and they're not putting out entire lines of product constantly that trump anything Dell has to offer, superior in every single way, not only speed to delivery, cost, density, cooling, energy consumption, number of processors you get in. They're better than Dell in every single way. Dell has no off-the-shelf solutions to get you up to speed at the same time, and that's where a lot of this margin pressure stuff comes from. They have all these Hopper, H100 CPUs, gathering dust on their shelves because they have a model where they deliver these data centers in a fraction of the time anyone else can, and that requires you to invest in inventory. Okay. And these Hopper chips are not trash. They're not even really that out of date. They're just one generation behind. There's still plenty of demand for these chips. Yeah, right now everybody wants Mr. Belvedere or Mr. Blackswell's. But, you can't always get what you want, as Rolling Stone said. You try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. And maybe what you need is an H100. Maybe you don't need a Blackwell. I mean, they're talking about DeepSeek. They don't even need chips. I mean, DeepSeek's able to craft models with an abacus and a slide rule. One Chinese man smoking a cigarette, one of those long cigarette holders. Picture a scene out of Big Trouble in Little China, or some movie like a Jade with a David Caruso. You guys think there's any bigger mistake in the history of acting than David Caruso quitting NYPD Blue? I mean, and then what's his name? Sipowicz went on to win like 10 Emmys. First, Sipowicz won all the Emmys, and then Bryan Cranston won all the Emmys. Basically, all you gotta be an ugly, pasty, white guy doing some dramatic role. Always going out with somebody way out of your league. Guys, you ever just want to take your cell phone and smash it with a ball peen hammer? Anyway, I don't know what this video is supposed to be about, but here's the thing, guys. When the narrative, the conventional wisdom, everybody's telling you something, it's probably a lie, and it's probably designed to get you to do something against your best interest. Okay? They want you to sell at the lows. Now, if I'm a smart short, I covered at 18. I covered at 20, or I covered when they pushed back down to 25. You want to short from the highs. You don't want to short off the lows. And that's why I say the second and third wave, these lemmings, these shorts are going to get, burned at the stake by the likes of BlackRock and Vanguard and some of these other bulls at a time and place of their choosing. Why have they churned this thing for 5 days at 45? Why has this thing been on a long-term algo-held trend, save for a 1-year pump and dump for the last 3 or 4 years? I'll give you a clue. I mean, the reason is because they want to own all the shares as cheap as possible, and then it'll go up, somewhere representing the true value of where this stock is, because we are in the midst, just at the very beginning of a complete revolution. I'm telling you, AI is just starting. It's not even at the cusp of the growth curve. It's not even, forget about the steep part. We're not even at the beginning of the growth curve of AI. We're just starting to see these use cases. It's like not even a fraction of 1% of where this is going to be in a couple of decades. And it all requires these data centers. And SMCI is the best, the fastest, the cheapest at building these things. And anybody who says otherwise is just, I think, either being disingenuous or they're not very well informed. Dell is not ahead of SMCI in cooling, in density, in anything else. Dell's newer to this business. And yes, they're catching up quickly, and they're a good company. But they don't have the growth rate of an SMCI. And everybody's saying, oh, it's so horrible. Everybody thought the world was ending last quarter, and sales are only going to grow from, under 15 billion to like 21, 22 billion. And they didn't give guidance for who can give guidance in these conditions? Oh, it's 130% tariff. It's an 80% tariff. Oh, then it's going to be no tariff. Then there's AI chip restrictions. Then, AI chips are exempt. You can't blame SMCI. This isn't accounting difficulties to not be able to give guidance. This is, I don't know if I'm going to be sitting on a private island on vacation tomorrow, or if somebody's going to grab me, throw me in the trunk of a car, beat the living shit out of me, and, drive me around, and then basically dump me a la Jackie Brown style in a vacant field right across from my own apartment, shoot me 3 or 4 times. Jackie Brown is an underrated Tarantino. I think it's honestly one of the best. I think it's one of the best films, the best acting. I think Samuel Jackson is really at his best playing, his cliche self that Tarantino always has in play. Whether it's, basically any of the movies, Samuel Jackson is playing a cliche, but, these are period pieces for the most part, or I don't know. What's her name? Fonda. She was incredible in Jackie Brown. De Niro. Just a real, I think just a real underrated film. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, guys. Yeah, stupid Dell. Stephen Wolf. Stefan. Excuse me, not Stephen. Stefan. Like the great Graham Stefan. The great U-turder. How do you make like $20 million a year and then have the hands the size of a doll? How does that make any sense? I think the reason I'm not super successful on YouTube is I don't have like really feminine features. I have like super tiny hands. You guys know my audience, even per capita on average, has an even smaller penis size than the Great Stock Moe's audience. Might want to commit that to memory. Might come up in your next game of Trivial Pursuit. Oh, yeah, the Moody's I don't think, Carl, I don't think the Moody's downgrade is really like, if we lose our currency, if, you know, the United States tanks and goes under, there are no more markets. The whole world economy is going to crash. I don't think it's going to happen, you know, but at the same time, I don't think there's any way we could pay our debt back unless we do a complete paradigm shift in how we think about, you know, what we're entitled to in terms of our society, what we pay in, who's going to pull on the rope. It's going to be very painful to get our fiscal house in order, especially if you're at kind of the lower end of the spectrum. But Justin Maluk, okay, he's got a nice, average, manageable penis, and he puts that thing to work. So, again, guys, this isn't this isn't supposed to be a sex show. I don't know why I was thinking about tiny wings. It's just, the mind, it wanders, as Sheriff Tommy Lee Jones said in No Country for Old Men. I do not want to go out and confront something I do not understand. What was his name? Jim Tom. Sheriff Jim Tom. Anyway, guys, I have to see you want to see the scatter plot on that, Jeremy? gotta let those color change transitions lenses get to clear, and then we'll show you the charts and graphs. But I've broken it all down, guys. I got extensive analytics. I know what's going on, guys. You don't have to hang your heads in shame anymore. Like those of us who you got to go all the way to the islands just to take the old shirt off in the pool. You're man boobing for fun and profit. I got a whole system coming out. I got several systems in addition to the Tebadaki method, which is the trading system for plus size gentlemen. I got a new system coming out for all you guys with your tiny wings, just running around out there, bumping around. I got a system I'm preparing for bald men. I got a system now, all these systems are essentially the same thing, which is just me telling stupid jokes and got permanently banned. I got so sick of stock twits. I used to be on there and I used to give people really good advice and stuff, and then people would just my favorite guy is what's that fucking guy's name? He had a Mercedes-Benz and an Ivy League degree. God, what was his name? Something Premium or so. I love that guy. They just give me shit all the time. SMCI, the next big SMCI catalyst, guys, I'm just going to tell you a secret. I don't even need a catalyst right now. Technicals, momentum, and short squeeze are going to double the stock. Now, the catalysts are essentially that they just announced like yesterday, they're taking orders for, all this new Blackwell stuff. They're ready to start shipping. So if not this quarter, you're going to start to see sales just absolutely explode next quarter, which incidentally, July 1st is the start of their fiscal year. So this thing's timing up just perfectly. Okay, yeah, this year is going to be way below expectations, but we already know that they already told us that. And we already know why. And I think you can hardly blame SMCI, management, accounting irregularities, anything like that for this. Guys, rallies do not end on a huge gap up and then consolidation on increasing volume. Okay, take a look at the volume over time. you see this over and over again. All the volume comes in this long period of consolidation. Basically, been consolidating since 50 right here since last August. I mean, it fell off from 67 right down to 49, and is basically, if you look at the chart and are honest about it, take out the pump and dumps, take out the Hinden turd hysteria, it's at the exact same level pretty much that it was last August. And it's been consolidating, they've been accumulating, and not for nothing, but look at where this aggregate short volume ratio is. Okay, I don't know why the one hasn't come out. Yeah, it came out for today. So 58 today, and then no, I don't know. It didn't come out today yet, I guess. It should have. Not sure what's going on with Fintel, but I'm almost sure there was heavy shorting again today, as there has been, for the last 3 days. Friday, Thursday, and Wednesday, heavy shorting up around the 60% level. You saw, short interest they're saying is 20.4% or whatever. I don't believe that for a minute. If you look at these short ratios, I think it's probably more like 23%. At least. And then that's just by their estimates, it's almost $5 billion worth of stock. Now, what's interesting is cost to borrow max has been under 1. Cost to borrow average has been like 0.4. Cost to borrow average went up to almost 1. Cost to borrow max hit 6.57. Now, what happens, when all the longs turn off the shares that they're willing to loan, and all of a sudden you're sitting there borrowing $5 billion worth of shares, and cost to borrow jumps up, to 10%, 12%. What happens then, friendo? And also, if you notice this setup, I've told you guys this over and over. You'll start to see shares on loan plummet, and you'll see short interest maintain or go up slightly. This is when you're going to see a huge move to the upside. You say, why is that? I don't know exactly why that is. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that make sense to me, but I see this over and over and over again. Remember where you were in SoFi. Everyone in their breath was saying, oh, no, it's going back down to 5. It's a dead stock. And I'm looking at the shorts and I'm going, they can barely hold this thing between 680 and 720, and they're shorting the living hell out of it. These guys are late. The writing is already on the wall that SoFi is going to be successful, that Anthony Noto's beating the system, that he's smarter than all these other guys, that he has the best hair, he looks best in a windbreaker, adjusted EBITDA, all that stuff. And I was like, isn't this obvious to you guys that this should not be trading 30 or 40% below the SPAC price after 3.5, 4 years of just impeccable, incredible, unbelievable execution with superior management, superior business model, moving toward incredible margins with excellent top line? I mean, you see top line growth, not that much different from Palantir, a little bit slower than Rob, but they just don't get the mold. Oh, it's just a bank. I don't care what you're selling, guys. What matters is sales and margins and money. And SoFi, and I saw that. I'm like, this is going to make a ton. I said, oh, it's going to go to 13 by the end of the year. 13. So everybody laughed at me. Everybody. They said, you're fat. You're stupid. You have bad breath. Like, what does that have to do with anything? These are all ad hominem attacks. And what do you know? The stock just runs up to 18. Okay, you were right. Yeah, I know I was right. But if you listen to me, you could have bought the stock in the 4s and, 3 and 4x your money. Because I see structurally what's happening. Look at this, guys. I mean, here's where you want to short. Up here, or even here. Even here. This is where Hindenburg, they were planning this all along. They've been doing this research this whole time. I mean, look at this line, guys. It's perfect. This lower support line, it's holding strong since June 1st, 2023. The pump and dump comes out. They overrun this thing a little bit. It immediately recovers, almost immediately. Finds support again there once, twice, 3, 4 times, and takes off. You see rallies end on gap up, consolidation on big volume, on a stock that's being shorted off a low base. Why do you keep shorting a stock off a low base? It's idiotic. That's why this is the third wave of shorts. They're going to get crushed, and they're going to send this stock up to double. You want a good bearish perspective? This is actually a pretty good article. I read it. The techie, I don't know this guy, but I've seen a few of his articles on Seeking Alpha. Take your money and run. 40% gain, as good as it gets. He recommends taking profits. He's basically saying, the stock is starting to look overvalued. RSI starting to look overbought based on, the glut of inventory again on the Hopper chips. But he basically says, hey, they're going to be able to sell those through because they're not really out of date. I don't know. I'm not against anybody taking profits. If you just made a 40% profit, you want to take profits. But he's like, the market cap is 27 billion after this recent run. Expect a short squeeze coming today. If you look at Seeking Alpha's valuation, they paint you a lovely picture of the stock. Forward EV said, but he's saying like basically because the margins are low, these multiples don't matter. The RSI is too high. He's like, take your profits and sleep well tonight. I think this is horrible, horrible advice. I mean, look at where this thing is in terms of timeline. Okay, you're about to ramp and about to start selling Blackwell chips like hotcakes. This is going to send margins up considerably. This is going to send sales up through the roof. You have new product lines out for AMD, for others. They work with all the chip manufacturers because they're the best at what they do. When the entire narrative is against you, and I'm the only voice, not the only one, but like with SoFi, I mean, even all the SoFi bulls were saying, hey, it's a dead stock. It's not going to move. I was like, that's exactly when stocks move. They roofie you. They leave you there asleep. They don't want you to be able to react. They want you flat-footed. They don't want you on your game. And they certainly don't want you in SoFi or any other stock. This stock has just been it's been a money press if you have any idea what you're doing. I just don't get what people are. AI is just starting. Super microcomputer, whether it's, luck, happenstance, they are perfectly positioned to take advantage of this massive, massive ramp in AI data centers that is only accelerating. It says, oh, it's slowing down, spending slowing down. But then if you actually look at this article, tries to gloss over this $20 billion Saudi Arabia deal like it's just, another order, from SoftBank. This is a huge deal. It's almost their entire market cap, in one order. And they're not the only sovereign wealth fund. Everybody's going to have to follow suit. And it's not just the Middle East. Everybody's. Super Micro has the best footprint around the world. They're perfectly positioned. They're gonna eat Dell's lunch. I don't think Dell has a chance. I don't feel like they brought a knife to a gunfight. I feel like they brought like some daisies to a gunfight. I think Uncle Chuckie, he doesn't have as good a hair as Anthony Noto, but I believe he is also a genius. As is my papa, Tony notes. Anyway, guys, Pepe Sylvia. I got tons of Pepe. How did I not go there? I don't know, Ben. I'm not a technical person. They need another deal. Doesn't have to be. Jeremy, they're going to keep. They set up the company to keep landing these huge deals. Nobody else can do these deals. The only other real player at scale is Dell and HPE, and HPE basically has already said they can't compete. And even if they have to split all this growth with Dell, which I believe they're going to capture more than their share, they're still going to see hyper growth. 15 billion, 21 billion, maybe it's 35 billion, maybe it's 33 billion, maybe they do get to 40 billion or 42 billion. Who knows? Who knows? Not me. Man who sold the world. I don't know why this isn't popping up. It's not really important. So Mizuho, the JJ, he raised his target from 32 to 40, maintained a hold. And Nanda with a loop reiterated his buy at 70. The only person who, has the cojones to come out with a $24 downgrade is old Mike Ng. He has no vowels in his last name. He is growing that little beard with everything. I don't know. I don't know what this guy's deal is. I mean, he used to do these time downgrades on SoFi too. you notice his downgrades come just like right in the middle of all this bullish momentum. Also, I mean, look at what's happened with the volume, say over the last, volume through all this consolidate. You see this huge amount of volume come in on the uptrend, right? And then on the fall, it's far, far less. More uptrend, more volume. Starts to go, when it goes down, you see almost no volume. Volume back up, stocks going up. Volume down to nothing, stocks going down. Volume picks back up all of a sudden. What do you know? Stocks going up. It's a big drop here. That's obviously that. What was that announcement? We just got some bad news. The big earnings, downgrade and stuff. So anyway, so you see again more and as this starts to go up, this huge uptrend, you just see volume get huge, consolidate up here. Now over here, notice a huge difference. You see these candles. You see the range on the day going from like 55 to 66 and then 62 to, so this isn't, these huge daily ranges, it is indicative of just a ton of volatility, of pumping, of now look at how tight these ranges are here. This is algo hold. It's already broken through all this resistance here. There's no more resistance until 60. And I would contend there's no real resistance until 78 to 89. Just my opinion. Okay, sorry guys. Just a couple of quick things. Who's here, guys? Two brothers. I don't know which one of you it is. I'm sure they're jumping in the street. Of course they did. Yeah, that's what I already said that in another video, two brothers, but it's a great point and I appreciate it. This deal with Saudi Arabia, the Trumps are very close to Saudi Arabia. They blessed this whole deal. They're not going to say, hey, announce all this. I mean, they probably have leaps, on SMCI. Probably have leaps on Saudi. I don't know. But let's see here. Okay, guys. Should you wheel it? Man, Alberto, I like a wheel strategy on something that's just a little bit more predictable. I mean, that's me. I'm in a lot of long shares. I'm in a lot of SMCX. I've just played the runs. I was playing a lot of calls the first two runs. I played some calls last week. I just got lucky, but some of them have expired worthless. I wouldn't say for me this is a stock I would pick for a wheel strategy. It's just too much of a madman for me. I think anytime I'm working an actual strategy, like something I could kind of understand the price action a little bit more, but I think it will settle down. And I know it looks really stable, Alberto. If you look at the chart, you're like, oh, but this thing is a complete monster. It's all over the place, and the price action is not very. I like a wheel strategy on something with a little bit more organic price action. Like, okay, catalyst coming, it's earnings, it's this deal. It's not, just every time, Jim Cramer farts. And Jim Cramer even came out and said, something nice about SMCI. I don't know. I forget what he said. Supermicro now accepting orders on portfolio of more than 20 new systems optimized for the NVIDIA RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell Server Edition. So they're taking orders for these things right now. Cramer notes Supermicro computer is relatively cheap versus the whole cohort. He may be the president of the general partner with verbiage such as that. You saw the $20 billion push drives AI weekly gain in months. Mizuho lifts AMD SMCI price target. Supermicro signs memorandum of understanding with Datavolt, the hyperscale AI campuses. And there's no reason this would have to end at $20 billion. I mean, Saudi Arabia doesn't just have business interests and investments in Saudi Arabia. They have business interests and investments all over the world. Their sovereign wealth fund is absolutely massive. So anyway, I don't know. You notice this is ranked number one in the sector with IBD. number one in their entire group, which is, I'm not saying the, can slim system by, I think that was invented by Paul O'Neill, former New York Yankee, also with the great cameo on Seinfeld. But yeah, Paul O'Neill invented the can slim system, founded IBD. I believe it was 1979, and guys got a sweet swing. Kind of reminds me of the Nushler, Will Clark. Just that kind of sweet gait, left-hander. You guys know the Nushler. You San Francisco Giants. You go to the caveman, Don Robinson. So my athleticism has been likened to a Rick Russell. They had a 1-2 punch of athletes in the San Francisco Giants pitching staff. They had Big Daddy Don Robinson, the caveman. They came at you with Rick Russell. Looked like he'd been driving a truck, an 18-wheeler, just eating at truck stops. But I'll tell you, this thing's about to explode like somebody just came from a chili boat cook-off. Let's see. That is what she said. No one wants a short. What's up, Noto Lurker, the great Noto Lurker. Great Noto Lurker is here. Hello and welcome to you, good sir. Chris H., how's the short float looking at Neo? My next video is Neo, Chris H. I know I keep saying that. I promise it. I don't know. Let me take a look. I can give you some news here. Let's see. Neo, pull it up for you. So they are shorting, looks like about 13% of the free float, about 830 million. So the short has actually come down a bit. Shares on loan have come down a bit. Utilization still says 100%, but that's total fugazi. Because if utilization's 100%, there wouldn't be more than 10 million shares available. So in any case, another interesting thing, I don't know why this short volume ratio just continues to not show up, but take a look at the institutional ownership on SMCI. And like, again, is this how rallies end? Is this a sell-off? It's all-time high. All-time high institutional ownership, and just about an all-time high in insider ownership. 25 insiders own 160 million shares. The founder, CEO, and his wife own, like, I think 67 million shares of stock. Worth, what is that, like $2-3 billion? Time bullshit. Timeshares, Chinese. Yeah, I'll buy timeshares in China. I don't care. Yeah, Neo, I guys, it's just Neo has not been making anybody any money. I try to put you into things, and I know this isn't meant to be advice, but I try to tell you what I think is going to move when. I know I carried on about SoFi forever, but they just held that thing down unnaturally. Just looking at this chart, guys, I mean, this to me, setups don't get any better than this. This line on the bottom is as solid as it gets. We saw this wedge coming. We thought it was going to move. It moved right on cue. Gapped up. It's just got to pass this point here at 47. It'll get through all this. There's going to be a blip at 60, and I don't think you're going to see any meaningful resistance till about 78. And like I said, I think this freight train goes to 89 just on technicals, momentum, short squeeze, covering. There are consequences to being wrong. And, although sales, are disappointing this year vis-a-vis the expectations management analysts set forth pre, the dawn of the new America, where, Trump fixed everything with his genius tariffs, rebirth of America, or whatever they called that. There was less New Deal, more, stinky diaper. But anyway, I guess however you get there, if we get better trade deals, that is a good thing. And people think, oh, you're anti-Trump. I'm not at all. I agree on so many of these policy positions that we're being taken advantage of. The reason we have these giant structural deficits is because we've been paying, the defense bill, the foreign aid bill, the state for the entire free world for, the last 70 years. And, the way the debt's exploded since Reagan is just absolutely unsustainable. But then you combine what they want to do with spending cuts, efficiency, quote unquote, with these huge tax cuts. They don't make any sense in that context. So I don't know, guys. But if you look at this point right here, very important date, like February 7th. See how this line right here coming down is resistance, resistance. It bounces off the line once, twice, 3, 4, I'll call it 5, 6, and then it breaks through right there. And ever since that date, the teeter-totter has been on the other side. Rejected up here. It's been rejected up off this line so many times. Once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this channel is legit, but it's coming to the end of the line. It's going to break out. It's going to go up at least through 51. It's going to go up through 60. And again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but this stock is going to 89 in short order. No pun intended. The shorts were completely wrong about this thing. And I just think this company is absolutely perfectly positioned. I don't know why these short volumes aren't coming up. I guess they don't have their act together. But the point is, volume was way lower. I mean, volume came way down. You say, well, that ends the rally. No, because this is all churn. This is all fake price action. You say, oh, they don't fix the price. Look at the chart look at some of these candles. I mean, you can't really see it here, but there's so many of these big hammer candles in here where the price fixing is so obvious as to be painful. But it doesn't matter. Just don't get mad about it. Don't curse manipulation. Use manipulation to make money. That's what you're supposed to do. Katie Wentworth has it all wired. Buy, 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 sell, sell, sell. Remember those days when it used to be on the actual floor, the exchanges, and those guys in like little coats, little bald guys living in Connecticut. Let's see. Yeah, I like NEO. NEO is just too cheap right now. I mean, CATL loves NEO. The government loves NEO. I don't think fast charging by any means negates swap. I think it doesn't do anything to swap. CRISPR is going to go through the roof, guys, sooner than later. They're winning that battle, and they're going to win the war. And you know, these genetic medical, genetic engineering, they're not going away. This is not going away. This is the future of medicine. And CRISPR is right there. My name is Kurt Keckner, and I'm right here. She's out of my league. Highly underrated movie. Stainer. Did you give her my Facebook? You have a Facebook? Slapshot Regatta. What the hell are you doing with dipshit here? It's like, no, it's a fair question. It's like, Dad. Fair question. This stock, James? Yeah, I think it's about to go way, way up. I think it's about to go up eminently. There are no sellers. There are no shares available. High institutional ownership. Incredibly high insider ownership. They don't think this stock is worth just barely over 1 year's sales. Yes, there's been a lot of margin pressure, but you're on the very tail end, the very trailing end of Hopper. And the exact same thing that happened when Hopper started is going to happen when Blackwell starts. That's margins are going to go up and up and up. They were up at 17, 18 at the beginning of the product cycle. This was predictable. But these bears try to make it out like it's some structural problem with the company. Everything is cyclical. It's called a wash. I showered this morning, Alberto. Take it easy. I may have bad breath, but you can't smell that on YouTube. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Not a Lurker. Yeah, the CCP does love NEO, but the CCP loves all their EV companies. And the rest of the world has to compete with those companies. All this thing of like, oh, you're supporting China if you invest in a Chinese, you fail to understand how capital flows, and it like it or not, it's a global economy. And the Chinese prepared for this trade war with Trump for years, and they were prepared to sustain that indefinitely. We were prepared to go a couple of weeks until we ran out of plastic baubles, toys. I think, Trump in a sense is really hit on something, I think, surprisingly profound. You don't need 40 dolls. You don't need 5 boxes every fucking day from Amazon. He's like, toughen up, Buttercup. Pucker up, Buttercup. Tighten the belt. Going to have to take a little bit of short-term pain if you want to negotiate a better deal. That's his. And I'm not saying he's wrong. Hey, got everybody's attention. That's for damn sure. Wake up and smell the Menthol, little snoozy. I just think you cannot use madman theory all that. It's not best to always negotiate with a gun pointed at somebody's head, especially not with your partners. We were minutes, I think, from just bombing Canada. Let's attack Ottawa with everything we have. It's like, how about a nice game of chess? Like, no, thank you. I'm going to play global thermonuclear war. And then Biden has cancer down to the bone. I don't know why, like, whether you're for Trump or for Biden, whatever, or somewhere in between or neutral, or you just don't care. Everybody blames everyone else. Oh, Biden wasn't forthcoming about the fact that he was in extreme cognitive decline, had all these health problems. They were hiding it. Why doesn't anybody blame Dr. Jill Biden? I mean, Dr. Jill Biden had to see. I know she's not a medical doctor. She's not a chiropractor. She's not a dentist. She's not a physician assistant. I think she has a PhD in English or something. But doesn't Dr. Joe Biden at some point go, hey, the crypt keeper ain't all there? And I don't mean to like bash a guy who's got, that's not my point. You can't hold Joe Biden responsible for that decision. It's like, hey, you want to let your 85-year-old semi-senile grandfather fly the plane? Oh, he's proud. He doesn't want to retire. He's going to fly 400 people into a mountain. I know the right was like really on Dr. Joe Biden because she insisted on being called doctor, which I think is legitimate. I mean, that's a horseshit PhD. Come back, and I'm not saying she didn't do legitimate hard work to get that degree, but it's almost, to me, it's just like vanity. Come back and, your husband's been senator or vice president. You have all these credits, accolades. Everyone loves you. Your doctor. And you have to get some vanity PhD just so everybody has to call you doctor. I want you guys to start calling me doctor. I want you guys to start calling me the Great Mutah. After the greatest female professional wrestler ever to live, the Great Mutah. Anybody know what this show's supposedly, ostensibly, laughably been about? SMCI. It's a invite. Yeah, no, they have 3 campuses just in San Jose. They're building a campus right here in my backyard. It's going to be a mother-in-law unit. Can't stop it. Got to permit it. City doesn't permit within 30 days. You go ahead and add that ADU. I'm going to stick an ADU right in my colon. You put those things anywhere. I'm going to have a family of 12 living above my garage. That's a legal ADU, sir. I got a garden hose running out here. I got a 5-gallon bucket. Anyway, guys, dude, Uncle Jensen and Uncle Chuckie are like peas and carrots. You're trying to, what is that thing where it like sends you on like a random thing and then you end up running into these like haunted people, or somebody in a pickup truck tries to like break into your van life? It's like a random number generator, but it sends you just like random places. And it's always like someplace haunted or someplace bad. Dude, I love those fake, like, haunting videos. Like, oh no, he shit himself. He shit. Like, run. Some guys, like, running, but you never see, like, the danger. I had a knife. No, he didn't have, he had a bazooka. He didn't have a bazooka. He had bubonic plague. I saw him. He coughed on me. Run. Like, we're gonna visit an old sanitarium. Nvidia just shared a Microsoft post on X. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, they're gonna believe me. Microsoft doesn't do racks. Nvidia barely does racks. Uncle Chuckie's just over there, like, oh yes, Microsoft. Ah, Jensen. Like, I'm still waiting for my leather jacket, Jensen. You cheap son of a bitch. You short bastard. Anyway, Rocket Labs just took a big nosedive there, I think, on some news. I think they're gonna get there. I like the company. I just think it's something that's just fraught with so many peaks and valleys, so many triumphs and tragedies, that you're gonna have plenty of opportunities to buy the stock on dips. I don't see any compelling reason to jump into that stock yet. I know people are like, hey, they're right on the cusp. They're doing launches. They're making money. I just think this is by the very nature of that company, they're going to have catastrophic failures that are going to lead to bargain basement opportunities. That's my opinion on it. So I have a couple shares of a tracking position. I'd like to own the stock in quantity, probably in the future, but I'm just going to bide my time on that one. I'm not, only fools rush in. So, and I'm your number one fool. I'm your number one tool. Tool is an underrated band. So many underrated bands out there. What's your guys' number one underrated band? Number one underrated album. I'd say Los Lobos, one of my favorite bands. I don't. You might think it's like too soft rock, too soul patch for me, but like Gin Blossoms. I mean, there's just Cake. Some of my favorite bands, and I like a lot of big popular. But I hate Coldplay. There's two things I know for sure. Coldplay is a shit band. I hate them, and Jamie Dimon is not a genius. Those are two truisms that you can absolutely take to the bank. Premium of the option in the house. SMCI is flyer than ever, Mr. Premium of the option. We're on a huge uptrend. The stock went up 44%, I believe, last week. You have bullish momentum coming in, volume coming in. Institutions want to own every share. Insiders want to own every share. You've got, whenever I see this, guys, this setup, if institutional ownership plus insider ownership, add those up. Look at all the rest of the shares that are left that are supposedly being held by, retail investors, family op. If the short interest exceeds those shares that are left, start to look at that stock. If it exceeds it, by a lot, like it does here, or, this type of cap, and you see them, shorting off of the bottom base, they're shorting this thing off of a power bottom, which requires both speed and cunning. You're an Always Sunny fan. What's up, Super Secret Ninja? Oh, same old shit, different day. What's up, Mr. Premium of the option? How you doing? You're in your fishing hat, looking like you're always recreating. Pissing me off, stuck here in my makeshift cubicle. My boss comes along and whips me with a bullwhip every 5-6 minutes. Just makes an exception while I'm on the air. Premium options here. We got Super Secret Ninja. Of course, we have the great Wrench. Alberto Bertie Aviles is here. We got the great Katie Wentworth. I have a little bit of Bitcoin that I had for a long, not very much. That's another one. I don't think it's going to 1 million or 2 million. I think you're going to get another bite at the apple lower. I think long term it could be worth far more than this. But I just think there's going to be a point, like retail, quote unquote retail, the bros, the Lambros, the little guys, institutions don't own all the Bitcoin. So they're not going to let it go up to 2 million right now. They're going to get it from you somehow. They're going to, beat you with a wet noodle and wrestle your Bitcoin from your digital wallet and your tight pants. Like Jimmy Fallon tight pants. Don't worry, Katie. Alberto was just joking. Let's see. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Cash secured put time. God, just when I say that, Adam, I mean, I would look for this base to hold up just for a couple more days. If you see that base, consolidating there, maybe 6 trading days instead of 4, maybe 6 or 7, I would be very comfortable selling some cash secured puts. China with the kill switch on our solar farm, they need to be held. You can't hold China accountable. I mean, they don't give a shit, man. They're playing long game. Like, what are you going to do? They have all the rare earth minerals we need. They got everything we need. They make all of our consumer goods. They buy all of our, soybeans and, neckties and whatever else. They definitely need to be held accountable, but how? I mean, that's the question. What do you do? They've done way worse stuff than that. They're hacking all kinds of our shit. I mean, I just don't get it. Like, what was she trying to do? Did she really think the guy was going to hold on for another 5 years, 6 years? The beginning of the campaign is just, you have to be completely divorced from reality. You look at the guy, he looks like he belongs like hospice care, and he has since the election. I mean, I don't mean that as to knock the guy. It's just a fact. Completely lost his color. All of his features are sucked back. His skin is starting to his eyes are sunken in. It looks like he doesn't have long left. And it's just incredibly irresponsible. You're like, oh, he's going to be good for another 5 years. And you're a doctor. Even a doctor of English literature can see that dog just don't hunt. That dog just don't hunt. Not even Delaware. Not even a little Delaware Coos hound. Anyway, guys, let's see. That's not cool. Let's say Dr. Special Needs. I know at the end of DEI, everybody's wants to say the R word again. Agreed. We like to gauge the week, maybe Wednesday. Yeah, I like where your head's at there, Adam DeMonico. I like your name too, Adam DeMonico. My family's in wineries. It's Adam DeMonico. Should join me out in Lanai for a nice stogie. I'll burn some $100 bills and laugh at poor people. It's me, Adam DeMonico. Hello, everybody. It's me, Adam DeMonico. Welcome and hello and welcome. What's up, Zombie Now? What's going on, James R? I keep selling for profit. I've have been historically flipping calls. I'm not trying to tell you exactly where and when I'm getting in and out. I'm just trying to tell you where I think this thing's going. If I think the stock is going eminently to $89, do you think I'm selling everything right now at 45? I know I look pretty stupid. Am I just falling off the turnip truck? But I weren't born yesterday. My mama might have raised a bit of a fool, but them was my brothers. No, guys. Hello and welcome and hello and goodbye. Oh, Adam, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, me too. I wouldn't say I grew up super poor, lower middle class. But yeah. No, you just have a very distinguished sounding name because you have the D and then, like Monaco, like south of France. But, hey, you're doing well now. You're investing. Got an avatar, got a teddy bear. I got some nice kids, nice wife, nice life. Doing well for yourself. That's why I do this show, guys. All the grinders, the other guys, hardworking people. Nobody cares about us. Nobody cares about the people that we're upside down, we're bag holding, we're panicking, we're worried what to do. We're like, oh, maybe you bought this stock at 100 or 110. And maybe, they wanted you to dump it at 18. But maybe a little voice down says, hey, these guys are conning me again. And you were right. They were conning you again. They're still conning you. They're still conning you. But that's what market makers do. They separate retail investors from their money. I don't know why this stupid short volume ratio is not coming up. It's really annoying me. Anyway, guys, that's neither here nor there. I grew up in Maine where men were men and sheep were scared. You guys are funny. I got a hilarious audience. Relative to SMCI, SoFi, how does a CRISPR long position? Let's see. My number one stock is still Microsoft by far. Then SoFi is right up there with Tesla. Probably after that, Google, Google's right up there too. I have way more SoFi than I have SMCI, and I have probably double SMCI as I have CRISPR. But I have, guys, I have a, I don't want to say my portfolio is strong to quite strong, but even on something that's like in my top 10, like CRISPR, I still have, a lot of money in the stock. So, yeah, SoFi, I would have more SoFi than SMCI, and I would have the least CRISPR out of the three of those. But SoFi is probably like my number 3 position. I would say SMCI is probably 5 or 6, and then CRISPR would probably be like 7 or 8, somewhere in that pecking order. But it's really hard for me to add that stuff up because I have several retirement accounts I don't really look at super often. Those just sort of hold like Microsoft, Google, some of those blue chip stocks. And then I have like 3-4 accounts I trade from. I have like SoFi account I don't really trade from. I just play with calls. So I have to add up probably 10 different accounts when all is said and done to really know what order things are in. And then I have stuff that's older that I've just not touched in certain retirement accounts because I'm happy. That was sort of my idea with those, set it forever. So anyway, yeah, I can add up all my positions. I'll post my SMCI position again. I'm still upside down on some SMCX, but everything else is looking really good. I've made an absolute fortune on this stock. It's been really good. SMCI was 50 when Ernst & Young resigned, 60 when Hindenburg came out. Yeah, and I mean, it was all for nothing. I mean, I know they're still don't have confidence, like BDO didn't have confidence. And I don't know why, for the life of me, they haven't hired that new CFO we were promised. Only thing they come through with is like a dick in a box. You ever seen the movie Hoffa? SoFi and Neo are world-class 4x and 10x. Birdie is right. Noto is lagging. No, Noto is absolutely executing to perfection. People just, this was not a quick hitter stock. This is, and guys, don't sell your stock until you're ready to retire and spend the money. I think that you have to be a complete fool to sell SoFi at 13, 14. The next run is going to go way over 18. Next run is going to go to about 24, maybe 25. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. Guys, that's about all I had for you. As it turns out, I didn't really have anything for you in the first place. So, you got exactly what you paid for. Absolutely nothing. I'm going to come back. I am working really hard on a Neo, but Neo is a very tough stock because it's a huge layer of complexity for me to understand with a high degree of accuracy exactly what's going on the ground in China. And I do have people I talk to in China, but there's a huge time gap, language gap. And, I don't just want to come out and just pump and just get views and talk about Neo. I actually want to, if I'm going to do a video on Neo, I want it to be something that is actually useful for, my tiny wing viewing audience. So with that, I would like to thank the aforementioned poorly endowed, but, very cerebral audience I have here. Don't let your tiny wang hold you back. Get out there and invest. Be successful. Like to thank the great Noto Lurker, probably the greatest wrench in the history of U-turd, fin-turd, mafia situations. Like to thank the equally great Alberto Birdie Aviles, the man who is always on top of his goatee game and always making a ton of money on options. We got, like to thank the great Adam DeMonico, who is... you believe it or not, I can't tell what you guys are talking about. We'd like to thank the great Adam DeMonico, who grew up in challenging circumstances, but is now absolutely crushing it. And we salute you, Mr. DeMonico. We'd like to thank the great Thomas Merrill. I would like to thank Javier, the great Javier. I can't roll my R's very well. That's not really an R. Javi. I remember Javi from that... the dance partner from Along Came Molly. Another underrated movie. I don't really like Ben Stiller, but I have exceptions to that. It's kind of weird because I don't like Ben Stiller, but I like Ben Stiller movies. And he's kind of a formulaic hack in terms of comedy acting. Something about Mary's brilliant, but again, I feel like Healy and some of the other characters really carry the film along, but he's so good, but I don't like him. I don't know why. Perhaps it's jealousy. I don't think so. I don't think so. It's just, I don't see that much talent there. Just incredibly successful. I mean, it's not like a Adam Sandler type talent gap, but it's a talent gap. Mind the gap, boys. Hey, thanks, everybody. Thank you to the great Carl Seamark, the Mattress King of Chicago. Are you going to give us the accent? I don't want to do any racist accents, guys. Let's see. I'm trying to help. Just know, guys, I might be a bad comedian, but I'm never a racist. I love everybody. I really do. I love everybody. I don't care who you are. You know, I've lived long enough to know that I ain't right about everything. My point of view, my views, all that. I'm not really a, that judgy a guy. But anyway, guys, I do appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining me. I will talk to you guys really soon. Peace. I'm out.